today we're going to talk about something that I think is very important for us to know. How many of you remember your first phone number? I do. I was going through it this morning. 206-848-3769. 206-848-3769. I didn't dial it, so I don't know if it actually still works, but I remember that. But I also remember how hard I worked to make sure that I could remember that. And the reason we remember it is because we worked hard at it. And I want you to understand that's habitually stuck in my mind. It's habitually the first number that you worked on habitually is stuck in your mind. And it's something that you can call on. It's a recall that's easy to get to because you work so hard in dialing that in. Now, the challenge with being someone who needs to live in habits intentionally is the fact that it takes a long time to actually work a habit in. It takes so much effort, so much energy. 96% of what you do every day is habitual. So that means you worked hard to get it locked in. Now, the challenge is sometimes we work hard on habits that we didn't intend to have. We actually have habits. We call them bad habits or good habits, but they're not necessarily bad or good unless the bad one is it leads you to bad things. But if you intentionally laid it down, you intentionally set that as a habit, you intentionally wrote that pattern in your mind and your heart, it's what you're getting. It's what you're accomplishing. So what you're going to accomplish today, what you're going to accomplish next year, what you're going to accomplish a few years from now is based upon what habits you're drilling in today. What habits you don't like, you don't like those habits based upon the results that you're getting. So look at the results that you want, the results that you don't want. If you're getting results that you don't want, is because you have not intentionally set habits in place that allow you to have the results that you want. And so I want to encourage you, get the results that you want by setting the habits that are necessary for today. So if you remember your phone number, how many of you remember your phone number? I can see on Instagram, if you can just say me, your first phone number, the first phone number you ever had to remember. If you remember that, you know how to create good habits. And you also know how to create habits that will be recalled on every single time you need it. You need that in order to be successful. If you can't recall on these habits, people think it's just what I do now that makes me successful. That may be true, but if what you do right now, you're putting lots of energy in it, ultimately the bad habit or the habits that you have in your Rolodex of life, in your life every day are going to either sabotage or benefit that thing that you're working on. There's a lot of people who don't realize that they are every day sabotaging the efforts that they're giving in life because they have habits that they didn't intentionally write into their system. So habits are something that we underestimate. Habits are something that we don't actually think about. We think, well, I want to break this habit. If your doctor says you have to stop smoking, all of a sudden you decide you want to break that habit. That's a habit now that you want to break. But you've written in. I mean, let's think about smoking, for instance. I don't smoke. I don't know very many people who smoke, but I know that at one time I did smoke. In order for me to break that habit, I needed to stop it. I needed to stop smoking. Now, I was the kind of smoker that decided I didn't want to spend money on cigarettes. So I was the guy that would bum cigarettes all the time. That was my thing. It's like, I'm not a smoker. I just smoke periodically. So I bum cigarettes off of people. So guess what? When it came down to me stopping smoking, it wasn't a challenge because I refused to spend money on it. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to spend my money on it. So I didn't smoke all day, every day, all the time. But someone who smokes all day, they smoke a lot throughout the day, that person is going to have a harder time breaking the habit because of just the repetition of being able to just get a pack, open up, light, smoke, get a pack, open up, light, smoke, get a pack, open up, light. That repetition is creating a habit. So what you're actually going to be breaking, probably the nicotine addiction is going to be breaking. You can get a patch, but there's so many people that need to have something in their hands. They need to have, they twiddle a pen or something. Is because there's also the habits that are written into your nervous system, your physical system that says, I need to pick this up and I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. So you have to understand breaking a habit is going to be spiritual. It's going to be emotional. And it's going to be physical. So you're going to have to actually write these habits on purpose. You have to establish these things on purpose. And what that means is you're going to have to, as much repetition as you put in establishing the habit, you're going to have that much repetition over a long period of time in order to break and establish a new habit. Now, stopping something, I know that a lot of people want to do habits based upon, they want to do habits based upon just stopping something. But a habit based upon stopping something is not giving you the longevity of starting something. You have to replace a habit that you want to break with a habit that you want to keep, a habit that you want. And so I want you to understand that when you're establishing a habit, and going back for the people that are just jumping on, good to see you, Pastor Malik. I want to just tell you, those that are just jumping on, and my lovely wife is there on the Instagram. And I want to tell you that as you're jumping on, what you get every day out of life is based upon your habits. It's not based upon what you've chosen to do. Some of the things we're doing are we're choosing to do it now. We're choosing to make it happen now. That's establishing a habit. There's things that we've already established, and those things are going to be what carries on until we actually interrupt that pattern. So habits are, I can't express how important they are. When I'm working and coaching someone to a new level, I'm working on first their verbal habit, their internal habit of what their speech is. And then I'm working on their physical habits, and I'm working on the emotion that they get from what they do every day. And those things are important. So if you aren't working on your habits, from Mexico, I need to hear about that. If you're not working on your habits intentionally, then you're on cruise control with habits that you didn't intentionally make, which means you're going to get cruise control, auto-suggested results in your life. So let's just remember this little statement, LIFO. LIFO, you hear about it in different scenarios, but LIFO means last in. Last in is the first out, and it's something that's usually done known in accounting, but last in is the first out. So the last habit in is the first habit that will be lost. So the longer habit that you have, the habit that you have the longest, is the habit that you're going to live based upon. So you have to work on real repetition and over a long period of time in order to establish a new habit that's going to break that habit. If you want to break that habit, if you want to overcome that habit. So if you think about it, the last habit that you worked on is going to be the one that you most likely backslide on, is because you have not set it, established it into your nervous system, and you've not put it into a place where you're going to consistently have this automatically functioning in your life. It's not so deeply ingrained as you knowing your phone number, 206-384. 206-848. That was almost my cell phone number. You almost had my cell phone number. 206-848-3769 is my original phone number. That's driven into me. So if I want to establish a habit that establishes financial increase, prosperity in my life, I need to now establish that drive, that same repetition that it takes to become a smoker, the same repetition that it takes to become a person who does whatever you do. It takes repetition over a long period of time. And the more often the closer you can bring that repetition, the better it's going to be. So if I memorize something once a day, it's going to take me, let's just put out there 60, 70 days. If I memorize something 3 times a day, it's going to shut that down. It's going to shorten that up a little bit. It may take me 30 days. So based upon as much activity as I give to it is going to give me the kind of response I want. So it's up to you. If you want to establish a habit that's going to create success in your life, you have to be repetitive with it, and you have to have a routine on it, and you have to be able to do it on a conscious basis, intentionality, until it becomes something that is completely subconscious, or your unconscious, or not unconscious, knocked out, but it's a part of your subconscious, a part of your RAS factor. It's written into your skill set. It's written into your body. It's written into your emotions. It's written into your spiritual place. Why is smoking difficult to break as a habit? Is it difficult to break? Yes. It's not only difficult to break because of the nicotine. It's difficult to break because of the emotional responses, or the emotional activity. A lot of people say, well, man, I'm having a tough time. I got to go have a smoke. So now that's writing. Even if you didn't have the nicotine, it's writing into your system a habit, or it's not even addiction yet. It's a habit, and you are craving a habit. You're hooked on a habit to the point that you have to keep doing it, and you're hooked. Hi, Tristan. It's my son. And you're hooked on that habit. You're hooked on doing it. It's not an addiction to where your craving is is pulling you to it. It's a habit to where your actions, your desire, your emotional state, your physical state is pulling you to it. So we have these things, habits every day that are pulling us and drawing us to things that we'd want to get rid of, but it's a habit. So we need to actually focus on it. So this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. Think about what you want to get rid of. Think about what you want to stop, but don't just think about stopping, because abstinence is not the key. The key is starting something. You can say, I'm going to abstain from this, but abstaining only makes you feel like you're losing something, like you're actually dying to something. But if you're coming alive to something, it makes getting rid of what you're dying to so much easier. So I want to encourage you, don't just think, I'm going to stop this, I'm going to stop this, I'm going to stop this. Abstinence is really a hard thing to do if you don't have something to focus on. Now, the point of focusing on something, the point of putting your mind and your thoughts and your intentions on something that you want to move towards, is then you don't feel the agony of letting go of something that felt good. People smoke, they smoke because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good emotionally, it makes them feel good spiritually, and it makes them feel good physically. So a person smokes, they go to smoking because I'm having a hard time. It's a tough time. I need to relax. Okay, so that's now going to be a spiritual and emotional thing. So we need to make sure that you compensate for that. What are you going to do for your emotions? What are you going to do that when you feel that trigger, I need to relax? What are you going to do? You now have to do something. You have to go to something that's going to help you. So you need to know when you're establishing a habit. I've never heard anybody say this, so I want to encourage you to do it. When you're establishing a new habit, don't just think about the physical activities of stopping. Think about the physical activities of starting. Think about the emotional activities of starting. Think about the spiritual activities of starting. What does that mean? How does it make you feel? How do you feel? What are you going to do that's going to energize you? It's going to make you feel like you are alive. It's going to make you feel like you're connected with God and the world. You've got to do something that makes you feel like you're connected. You want to stop something because it's ultimately making you feel like you're disconnecting. You're disconnecting with others. You're disconnecting with life. You're disconnecting. If a doctor tells you that smoking is bad for you, you're disconnecting with life. So you need to now connect with life again. That's spiritual, emotional. What makes you feel good? How does it make you? What can you do that's going to make you feel relaxed? What's going to do that's going to make you feel energized? You have to be able to do that. Then of course, physically, what are you going to do? You have to have some kind of touch or tact. You have to tact something. You have to touch something. So you're going to have something that makes that connection. And so you're going to need all of those things. Hopefully this is encouraging. Hopefully this is building. Hopefully this is helpful. But I want you to know, if you underestimate habits, you've already lost the game. If you think habits are just something that needs to be broken, then you've lost the game. If you don't know that habits are something that need to be established for your success, then you've lost the game. The game is literally about every day. 95, 96. I read it and confirmed it today. 96% of what you do every single day is habitual. So what you're doing is setting yourself up. What you have today, what the 95% that you worked on today, that just comes out of you without you thinking. You don't actually have to think about it anymore. You just do it. You have a bad conversation at work. All of a sudden, the first thing you do is you go to your phone, you open up your app that gives you a little bit of joy. Maybe that app is maybe it's not smoking anymore. You stop smoking. Now you're opening up your gaming app, and it's now taking you out of this stress for a moment. That's okay if it's in moderation. You have to know habitually, I know what this is doing for me, but it becomes a habit. You can get hooked on that habit. And if that habit is something that's always there, then it's not something that's helping. It's something that needs to be brought into its right perspective and its right focus. So I want to encourage you, build habits on purpose. And when you build habits on purpose, you'll put yourself into a success cruise control that you need. I need it. I'm developing new things in my life today because I want to cruise into success. I don't want to force success. I don't want to think about success. I don't want to work so hard on it. I want to work hard on habits that get me there. And I want to focus my attention on that. And the reason LIFO, last in, first out, the reason that habit that is first out, the reason that's the one you lose is that's the one you're still focusing on. You're still intentionally driving. At the point that it's no longer something that you have to focus on is when it's a dynamic help. That's when it's a dynamic habit. That's when you made it. You don't have to think about it anymore. But when you want to give up on something, don't give up. When you're giving up on a good habit, Don't give up on it yet, because what the reason you're giving up on it is because you're still drilling it in. You're still driving. Someone says, how long does it take to establish a habit? Let me tell you, we tried to calculate it to 21 days. We tried to calculate it to 60 days, try to calculate it to 90 days. The realization is until it's no longer effort, until you no longer are putting energy in it, no longer expelling energy. The reason that first out happens is because you're tired of giving the energy up for that habit to happen, and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to happen. So keep on. If you know it's a positive thing, you're going towards a positive, successful goal, opening up, you know, the Barrier Buster app every single day. I mean, that's going to be a habit. The realization is that the Barrier Buster app, you have to have the habit of opening it every day until you have the habit of it making you successful. It can't create success in your life until you have this habit of opening it every day. So this is the habit I want to challenge you with. Even if you do nothing, just every day, every morning, open up the app and simply close it. Do that until you just do that. Just make up your mind for the next 60 days, I'm going to open up the app. Even if you don't interact with it, you don't do anything with it, then close it. Why? Because I want you to get the habit of opening it. When you have the habit of opening it, it's going to give you the power within it, the psychology that it's designed around. I mean, it's not just ideas. These are psychology. This is spiritual, emotional, physical redesign for you to become the person that you've always wanted to be. And it's literally proven information, proven skill sets and coaching techniques that have been dialed into a little tiny app that's supposed to help you. But the problem is you can't have that help until you open it every day. So this is the habit. Open it every day. Open it, close it, go off with your day. If that's the only success you have in the day, you've been successful. And if you can develop that habit of opening and closing it, and if you open and close it several times a day, literally what's going to happen is it's going to establish in you a habit of going to that app. And then that habit alone is going to establish the success that you need in order to achieve what you've wanted to achieve. You're going to break through barriers, you're going to break through limits. So hopefully this is important. Remember this, LIFO, last habit in is going to be the first habit out. So make sure you work hard on drilling that last habit all the way down to the level of your knowing your first phone number. The habits that I have that are equally as embedded in me as me knowing my first phone number is the superpower that gives me achievement in my life. Now, I don't have to be told to read every day. I don't have to think intentionally about working out every day. I've done something in the past. It's called stacking. I took the habit that I liked, which was reading and which was studying and which was meditation. I took that habit and I took it into a room that I wasn't habitual about, which was my workout. I took it into my workout and I worked out together. And I put those things together. When I put those two things together, I stacked those two things together, and it basically gave me the energy that I took from my habit of study, and I brought that into the energy of that I didn't have, which was working out. And now when I married those two things together, the habit of study now mingled with my work ethic, and it created a habit of working that I didn't have before. So I want to encourage you, don't forget this. Don't forget this. Make sure that you're developing that. So the last habit that you have in is going to be the first habit that you're going to want to quit. So if you're establishing a new habit, you're going to have to keep on drilling it even when you want to quit, because it's the last one in. So you have to now establish new habits on top of that in order to move that one lower in I'm going to use the totem pole. So that latest habit is here. Build above it and push it further down. Don't stop it. Build above it, push it further down. That's going to guarantee that habit is not going to be lost easily. If it's up here at the top of the totem pole, it's going to be the first habit that you lose. When you have to find time and you have to find things to do, you're going to drop that habit. Don't drop that habit. Keep that habit there. Last in, first out. So if you want to keep that one, make sure you drive it down. Replace other habits that you don't want, habits of whatever it may be, habits that you're trying to get rid of, replace it, but keep on adding habits on top of it because it drives it down. Hopefully that makes sense. I want to encourage you, 95% of what you do every day, 96% of what you do every day is habitual. Find out what you don't want to continue to do make sure you put a habit in place of that covers your spiritual, emotional, and physical activities, so that you drive that habit deep into you, and it gives you the power to succeed. Write in your life purposefully success habits. If you want to be successful, it's not just about running and running, because the more energy you expel by intentional doing it, determines whether or not you're going to be able to do it over a long lasting time. If you're able to make it a habit and that energy comes out habitually, it's like running. You just, after a while, you first intentionally start running, but after a while you're just running and you don't even feel it anymore. That's what you want in life. You want to make sure that you're building a habit that's going to create success in your life until it no longer is something that you think about and feel. All right. Hopefully this is helpful. This was Barrier Buster this week. Want to encourage you, go to Barrier Buster Facebook app page. It's actually Barrier Buster app on Facebook page. There's more teachings. We did everything from lifting your lid, from everything. This was our first time on Instagram. So excited. Thank you. Thank you, Tristan. I'm so glad that you guys, hopefully that you were encouraged by this. And I'm not used to this, so I see the people's looks and moving around, but I'm going to continue to do it. We'll meet here again next week and continue to coach you. And don't forget, if you are moving forward, connect with Barrier Buster app on Facebook, and we'll see you next week at 1 o'clock. Thank you. Thanks, guys.